And then there's an element with Peter that I don't know, this idea that maybe you felt restricted by the kind of military background or being behind fences, I think he put it. So when he got that taste of freedom, he kind of went for it. Did you feel the same or not really?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
I think like maybe like a lot of children when you leave home. I mean, I left home when I went to university at the age of 17. And wow, just, our parents were very strict and well, we were really looked after and they always made sure we were doing our after school activities, but then suddenly you're out on your own and woohoo.
Was that university for you, that first taste of freedom?
Yeah, yeah. When I was 17, my mum sometimes says, I'm still waiting for you to come home after university. And yeah, I mean, I went to university in London. Well, it was kind of Twickenham, Hounslow. They didn't used to call it London, but it is nowadays, I think. Then I stayed in London for a few years and then just started traveling and teaching. And yeah,
Okay. And am I right in thinking you were the first to meet Carl? Is that right?
yeah, yeah. He was one of my very, very best friends at uni. And I remember we met pretty much on the first day. We lived on the same floor in the same halls, and we became friends very quickly. And yeah, I think I used to come home from holidays talking about this guy, Carl, and Peter got a bit jealous. And in fact, the first time they met, I remember we were all out having lunch. I had to tell them both off because they were just like, and he said to me, if he wasn't your brother, I was like, what are you going to do? Behave yourselves, the pair of you. But, they were just trying to wind each other up. And Peter has admitted later on that, yeah, he was a bit jealous because I came back from uni talking about this musician that was fantastic. And I think he had the same effect on both of us. It was like a total, in Spanish, they call it a flechazo, like, but not in a romantic love way, but, a total connection. And we both just loved him. We used to spend most nights together just playing songs. And like I said, I was very shy, but with Carl, I wasn't shy at all. And we'd sit up all night drinking whiskey and playing Beatles songs. And then when Peter met him, he was like, right, I want to be in a band with this guy.
Yeah, because I was reading back his book earlier, and he said he knew he wanted Carl to be his guitarist before he even met him, just from what you told him or
And
something.
what I'd say, it's so funny, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing, really. And I remember when I first saw him as well, and we were having this conversation probably in the student union, and I don't know what we said, but uh, I think I said, "Well, you're from Basingstoke, aren't you?" And he said, "How do you know that?" He wasn't really from Basingstoke, but somewhere near. And I was a total guess, but I just said, "I can tell by your coat." And he thought I was some kind of witch. It was really weird. It just, it was just one of those kind of meetings that were meant to happen. And when Peter came to visit me, probably in my first term at university, I had evening lectures, and it was Carl that said, "Well, send him to my room." And I think Carl used to call himself Carlos or Carl, whichever one he used to call himself. He said, "Oh, hi, I'm Carl," and Peter probably said, "Oh, hello, Carlos." Just little things to wind him up. And by the time I'd finished my lecture, I think Peter had been to the drama audition, already had the main part in the play that he wasn't even part of the student union. And some people were there trying to beat him up, and other people were there in love with him. He had that effect on people. Either he'd rub you up the wrong way or the right way.